or finding a new home should not be stressful or boring. With over 14 years experience, Good Time Tommy has spent his time building strategies, tips, and content that will help you, the new homeowner or seasoned homeowner, get the best deal for your money. Educate, navigate, and celebrate. Because whether you're buying or selling, you're going to get more traffic to your property promotion on every channel, and watch as Tommy and his team work until you are satisfied. Your new home awaits you with Good Time Tommy and his team. Subscribe, like, and follow at GoodTimeTommy.com. That's GoodTimeTommy.com.
Let's just do it this way.
You're on the business page.
All right.
You guys see it? Okay, so if you go, it is playing on a different page.
Hey, does this work? I think it's fine to have two different angles.
I was eating a protein
You're eating
bar.
fruit, buddy. You're
I was
eating
eating a fruit bar, protein bar. Hey.
Hey, watch this. Whenever I do.
Oh, are you live on his computer?
No, we're just doing it live now, but we can see if that one works.
See, hey, I don't know if anybody's gotten on here. Something. We've been live. Nobody. I
You
want
have 2 viewers on your business page.
Dear. So obviously it is public. We're trying to figure all this out, everybody. Dougie Fresh is on here. Your boy, weatherman Doug, and Derek, my best friend. Everybody, it's time for Real Estate 101.
Doug on there?
Yep.
My buddy? You reckon he likes
Brittany
beer,
Renee
you bet.
has joined. Hey, you know what Brittany Renee did last night?
Hey, Brittany Renee's cooked hamburger steaks and french fries.
She peed in the middle of the night, and did not flush it, and Lucky came in there and drank it.
Lemonade.
Can you believe that?
So is that Lucky's fault or Brittany Renee?
How can we blame Lucky?
Because when you drink something, you're going to smell it before you drink it, ain't you?
Well, I would. So, hey, we got a new angle going on. We're having tremendous difficulties over here getting our thing, and there's some kind of cutoff. It makes me. No. We're good. No, I like having different angles. That makes it cool because the Good Time Tommy looks right here. The Thomas C. Davidson's right here. Weatherman, go ahead and get us started. Hey, we appreciate the love, the likes.
So they flip back and forth like they do on the cameras.
How do you want to do it?
I'm not
Over
sure
here.
if I like this angle. You're chopping me out. That's what it is. All right. Hey, so this is
that
where
better?
the show that everybody waits for. I know y'all. So our sponsor this week is, and this is, I get to come up with these. This is my great intellect of the show. So the sponsor this week is somebody that we're very proud of over here. I know Tommy is because he brags on her all the time, but our sponsor of the week is Exchange Boutique.
Oh!
And so Tommy is very fortunate enough to date Brittany Renee, and he definitely brags on this boutique. He brags on what a great job she's doing. And guys, I've shopped there a lot for my wife. They got some of the best clothes at such a good price. So go by and check out Brittany Renee at the Exchange Boutique and check out what she's got going on over there. I know she's on Spring Street. I wish I knew the address.
220 North Spring Street.
220 North Spring Street. Or Brittany Renee will put her information up on the screen. But go by and check out what she's doing. It's a great, cool vibe over there. And, hey, tell her GTT sent you.
Or the weatherman. Either one of them would be great. Hey, he did come up with that all by himself. If you've been to the Exchange, make a comment in here. I want to hear you. Jamie Stillman, I see you on here. Swifty, he said Cousin Charlie has and him are having. I'd like Ryan. You'd like to sponsor the show? Well, come on, contact Ryan. Send me a message. Kathleen will get back with you about
The
about
executive
doing that.
producer.
The executive producer of the show.
You know what I noticed about Swifty? He's a rule breaker. He's watching TV in class. Charlie won't do it.
He's probably got it turned down to where nobody can.
Well, Charlie
I'll
won't
tell you
even do it.
something else about Swifty. He, like in Mastering Mondays, he understands sales. And
He does. He caught on that real.
He did.
The other day.
There you see my girls, 220 North Spring Street. I'll give you a GTT and or Weatherman discount. Hey, before we get too far into this, the party is coming up. Hey, Ryan, I appreciate you putting that up there, but don't make it hard on Kathleen. If you send me that message, she'll get back with you. So if you send me a direct message, we'll give that over to her. not this week, but Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, that is November 22nd, we will do the GTT Bash 3. The weatherman lifted up his wife last year, but his head.
No, it's my birthday.
That is the weatherman's birthday. I think he's going to be 37.
It is.
What are you going to be? Hey, weatherman, be careful. If you get in that line right there, it cuts you in half.
Oh, I don't do that. I think I'm good right here.
Yeah, so, hey, well, you do whatever you want to because you're the weatherman. All right, I don't think there's anything else I'd like to say before we get started. So today what we're going to talk about, we got Lisa Progar back there. We probably don't talk about her enough because Lisa is somebody we cannot do it without, can we, Lisa?
Nope.
You're the greatest.
The greatest.
Lisa is our internal.
I wish I'd get Lisa to hand me my phone.
She is the internal affairs of all of our files. The moment there's a contract, she takes that puppy from there and she manages the process. And we cannot do it without her because she helps us stay in line with details of the contract. So, Lisa, thank you. You may even have some questions. You may have some things you can throw at us. So today we're going to talk about deal fatigue. If you don't know what deal fatigue is, I'm going to explain it to you. Are we still doing the podcast? Okay. Okay, great. So, hey, Ryan Mudd, how you doing? Dan Elam, thank you guys for getting on here. Here's something I have forgot to say. Please share our stream out. You would be helping me greatly and the weatherman greatly if you would just hit one of these little buttons somewhere on your screen. It says share onto your page. I won't embarrass you. I will watch my profanity. I won't say anything too outrageous. If you do share the stream, we're going to come back. We will give you an Alley on Main gift card if you're chosen, the chosen one. So today, we're talking about deal fatigue. Blair, do you know what deal fatigue is? You're a very skilled negotiator. Do you know what deal fatigue is? Blair Braswell is in the office with us, by the way.
Depends on who's defining deal fatigue.
What is your definition of deal fatigue, sir?
Well, it could be from you talking about from an agent standpoint, from my standpoint.
Let's use the consumer. So this is for you real estate agents. This is also for you if you're on the opposite end of negotiations. So if you're the buyer, you're looking at the seller. If you're the seller, you need to look back at the buyer.
It could be one of those, I'm done, whatever. I'm done with negotiating. My mind's closed off, do whatever.
So life is the life of the deal.
Yeah.
It's the oxygen. Grant Cardone was talking about it's the oxygen that you have. So if you're looking at beep, 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 how much life is in the deal? So what are things that make the deal die? Fall asleep. No, they get sleepy.
They take too long to come back with a decision.
Did you hear that, people? They take too long. And Lisa Progar said that at lisaprogar.com said that. They take too long for a decision to come back. So give us some examples of when you know our clients are very impatient and they're wanting to know something. And the longer it waits, the more likely are people to just say, I'm done.
Well, when they start asking, are there any other offers?
Yeah.
You know that this one is taking too long.
Okay, so Lisa's talking about from a seller. If you get an offer,
Right.
like you, weatherman, you jump in here. I know you got something to say.
So what you're trying to say is, like, if somebody makes an offer, and a lot of agents, there's two things agents hate. They hate a 12-hour time frame, but when you don't, and I'm world's worst, I don't put a time frame on most of my offers. So guess what happens? Then Lisa has to deal with, it take 2 days to get an answer, and most people want the answer 5 minutes after they turn in the offer. But if you don't have a time frame on it, you kind of open your door to 48-hour answers.
Do you really think that's something we could do a show on? Do time limits matter? Do they influence on your decision? If I were to give you a great offer, would you wait me out? Would you make me wait on a decision, or would you try to jump on the decision as quickly as possible? It's a good question.
It depends on if you had other people showing it, if you had potential offers coming in. So nobody likes to be pressured and hurried unless it's a wonderful offer. What I mean by that is no inspection, no closing costs, full asking price. So those are good. But what happens a lot of time is if it comes in, it's a little bit lower offer. let's just say that. Let's just say we come in at $8,000 off the asking price.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those buyers still want an answer fast,
Yep.
and most time your sellers are a little bit aggravated, so they may wait them out a little bit. And then that's what happens whenever sometimes the buyer's like, well, forget it. You know, that happens sometimes.
Well, let's play. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Let's say Kathleen is my client. You're
Blair's my client.
Okay. So Kathleen makes an offer. I submit it over to you. The house is listed at $200,000. She makes an offer of $190,000. Okay. She's $10,000 light. We do have a house in demand. I submit it to you.
Right.
You get with Blair. You don't love the offer. What do y'all do?
I tell Blair, this is what Blair says. Well, hey, how long do I got to respond to this answer?
Well, Dan Elam from Elam Real Estate, thank you for watching, buddy. He said actually it's a TREC requirement, so you've got to put that in there. So I was wrong.
And
So
our,
you-
our favorite buddy from Cisco's on right now.
Hey, the great one, the Cisco Kid.
Cisco
The
Kid.
video genius. He knows about deal fatigue. I know they talk about it. So Blair and you are talking. You get back to me. I'm wrong. I've got a 24-hour time in there.
Okay, so Blair tells me how much time I got. I got 24 hours. And Blair says, well, hey, that's a low offer. Let's make them sweat it out to maybe they'll come back and raise their price. And now, some agents may tell the client that too, but these are just things that everybody's thinking. They'll say, well, if they're going to lowball me, I'm not getting back with them too quick.
Okay, now so now Kathleen has made this offer. Even when buyers make bad offers, they get impatient,
Yep.
they get antsy. Then that will eventually lead to a little bit of Garrett. They want 24 hours, I think, is what the average time response is.
Yeah.
About 24 hours.
Yeah.
So Kathleen made this offer, and now she's getting antsy, wanting to know what have they said. What have they said? Why aren't they responding? She's not understanding that it's costing her. The offer that she made was not desirable to you,
Right.
you two. So if you guys don't get back over here quickly enough, she may want to go look at something else.
Yeah.
So deal fatigue would set in if she's waited too long in her mind to get a response.
Yeah.
So if you guys were to respond quickly, I could get back to her, and she may come up to that number that you want.
Yeah. And vice versa. It goes back the other way. So we come back at a counter offer of $3,000. Now she waits a little while to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And then now my guy gets deal fatigue. You know what happens when we're tired? We make bad decisions.
We'll make emotional decisions.
Yes.
And we might say, to hell with Kathleen. Hey, to hell with that Kathleen McWilliamson or whatever. Hey, we're just going to wait for something else, like you're saying.
Right.
And it may not be the right thing. So the longer it goes, the more likely the deal is to die. So whenever you got something going on, if I make you an offer, the best thing would be, hey, let's go ahead and make this decision. Let's move it in here and make it close a lot, or not close, but let's make the deal come together a lot sooner. The longer it takes, the more likely Blair or Kathleen, whenever her certainty of this house starts to drop, she starts shopping around. Well, hey, I was on Zillow and I saw another house that came on the market.
Yep.
All these variables will come into play the longer this thing is drawn out. Well, what would happen, Weatherman, if we submitted that offer? You get with Blair, and well, he's got 24 hours, and then he gets a showing. Say he gets 2 showings.
He's going to call. So a lot of times what happens is so he calls and says, hey, we can either extend this time frame, but I can't get my people together in time to give you a decision, which pretty much means I'm waiting on this offer
Stall.
or this showing until I decide if I want your offer. And remember, you're low. So
That's
you
right.
don't have anything, a leg to stand on. And so now he's just trying to prolong it. And so when you call that agent, now the agent's got to tell their client, hey, they can't get together. It's going to take a little while longer. Hey, there we go. We start this thing going again.
We're stalling. What is my client thinking?
Hey,
Over here.
they got another offer. Are we going to lose it? Or, hey.
Fear.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, fear, uncertainty. I need to go out. I need to look. I need to I need to get back on Zillow. What
They
else
call
is
you
out there?
25 times. Hey, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything?
That's
Have you
right.
heard
No,
anything?
she probably would come up, but every buyer wants to negotiate.
Yep.
Sellers don't. But how you react to a deal matters.
Absolutely.
In a salesperson, hey, Billy Parkhurst is on here. Everything depends on the market. Hey, isn't he a negotiator?
He's very, very good.
So he can tell you this. In negotiation, how the agent responds to negotiation really matters.
Oh, absolutely.
How they respond to something. So how we start talking to each other
Yep.
might influence how my person is doing. And what you tell me, I could tell Kathleen. Kathleen might get mad.
Absolutely.
Hey, well, Stephen, the weatherman said you got to make your decision. Well, fine then. Like you're saying, when emotion gets involved,
Yep.
when people get tired, they'll throw the towel in.
Yep.
So some ways. So do you have any situations that you want to keep going about? How
No, time frames are one way of deal fatigue. One of my biggest things that I've seen, there are some local agents around here that, and I'm not going to point anybody out, but they use certain home inspections that are very, very, very tough. And a home inspection is one place that you would just be drained, emotionally
Let's talk
a
about that.
wreck,
That
and
is-
almost want to give up.
There's two things that you just said that I can really relate to. Think about this. Think about, Lisa, whenever we're waiting to hear back from a lender, our seller needs to know something. The more we keep calling and telling people the same thing, that fatigue. James Peeler's on here. Thank you for getting
Taylor.
on here. So it's very hard to call your customer and tell them the same thing. We didn't hear anything today. We think we'll hear something tomorrow. We didn't hear anything today. We hope to. So what that does, that leads to a lot of frustrations. To what do sellers want to do when they keep hearing that?
They're getting concerned that the deal is crashing.
Yeah.
And you're just,
Then what will they want to do? They'll usually do what Big Boy said right here.
yeah. You want to
Okay.
start looking around, or they want to pull their phones off and
Yep.
go live again. And
So what happens, like on a home inspection, you've got this long period, which is most time 14 days. There are, like I said, there are some agents out there that are loyal to their home inspectors, and so some of those inspectors are tough. So you're already at guard going into this, because if you don't already know to be ready, so now what happens is they do the inspection within a certain date, but now you don't get the report back immediately. Then there we go.
There's two sides to this, so let's play them both out.
Yeah.
So whenever they're waiting on that to come back, the sellers are getting very anxious.
Yep.
Okay, taking a while. Then the sellers get the list back. They submit it to the buyer get the report back. Did you have a question, sir? Were you going to say something?
We've already moved on.
Well, if we can come back to you. So let's say the home inspection report comes back to the buyer. They submit it over to the seller, and all these things have these little time deadlines
Yep.
on. So now the seller, if they're going to decide if they want to do all this stuff, they want to know what it's going to cost. So we want to get somebody
Absolutely.
out there. How? Because we've got a deal going right now where there's a lot of cost involved in what the buyers are asking, and we really feel like if our sellers are always going to feel like, well, if we don't do all this,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Billy said, it's always about the market. Everything depends on the market, bottom line. He's exactly correct, because if I've got a house that's very, very marketable, in great condition like his, I've got enough confidence. But what if I
Yeah.
didn't have a house like his that, we know it's going to be, that factors into how you feel about the house. So we got a list of repairs. We want to know how much is this going to cost us. Then somebody comes out. Then it takes us 3 days. So what are the buyers thinking now?
Yeah.
If it's taking us 3 days to get back, damn, why is it taking so long? Is what they're.
And our market is not the only thing in supply and demand right now. Sheetrock guys, electricians, plumbers, handyman. Hey, right now we're looking for a great handyman. So that just tells you that. So now, even if you found out today, I need a list of these repairs, it could take you up to 2 weeks sometimes if you really want to do it right. So you're trying to rush everything into a short period of time, and it's just very, very hard to do
It
that.
is, but you know what? Whenever you're a buyer, you don't care. You're
No.
very, very focused on what you want. If you can't tell us, let me know, and we'll go out and buy something else. That's how
Absolutely.
we start thinking.
Absolutely.
So, Lisa, I mean, you're talking about whenever we're trying to get information out of the lender and we got to follow back up with our customer, one of the ways to energize the deal is you got to come up with creative ways to follow up back and forth with them. Calling somebody up and say, hey, Stephen, they don't know anything. See you. Or text them. Hey, that's even better.
Yeah.
I don't want to cause any problems.
Why do we text them?
Because we're chicken. I don't want to talk to them. Let me email them. That's even better. Hey, maybe they'll get it tomorrow. You know, but most people, 97% of people will read their text within 3 minutes, I think.
Yep.
Email buys you a little bit more time, but we would rather do something that's not. Agents take things very personal. They don't want anybody mad at them because they're in the middle. But a lot of times the middle person gets yelled at. So we got to find creative ways to follow up so we don't experience deal fatigue. Deal fatigue meaning the deal's going to die. So the way Dan's saying playing offense is, I think, staying in contact early and often, but you're also going to have to find a way to be creative to, okay. You could say the same thing, but maybe you said it a little bit different. Could you think of a situation like that, Lisa?
One of the hardest things on a home inspection is when an agent comes back and it says a licensed contractor. It's so hard to have a licensed contractor come out because those guys are busy. So literally you have to go back and say, hey, I can't get a licensed contractor. I have somebody that does this. And so only because the home inspection say licensed contractor, they pretty much take that verbiage and put it on the addendum, a proposal, and then boom, here you go.
And to add on to that, I have had a lot of sellers that own their house that are more meticulous about fixing things than people that would come over there that might be licensed. So I agree 100% with you. I mean, it shouldn't matter as long as it's done right.
Yep.
But somebody is telling them to make them feel better, hey, you need somebody licensed. Well, this person would probably do a much better job because I have had sellers that I know for certain would do a better job. Dan Elam says, great content. Thank you, buddy. Lunch soon. You know, I always ask you to lunch, Dan, and very seldom do you apply or to reply to me. But I do know this.
Hey, your big night's coming up. He wants to take
Dan, I do know this. 97% of people see that text message within 3 minutes. So the seller's agent should sell them on value. Well, that right there is a very logical statement by Doug DeMumbrim. It's Sloan Cycles. If you need to go get you a slingshot like I did, call my buddy Doug up there. But what if one side is trying to apply logic to an emotional side? Does it matter? Can you sell value if some people are getting very emotional?
It's really tough. In our day and age now, it's hard for both sides not to have emotion. Mm-hmm. It's very, very rare that you're going to find somebody, unless they're a very unique person, that is not going to be emotionally tied one way or another. So it's very tough to have a side that's not emotionally attached. So there's going to be emotion on the buy and the sell.
That's right. Number 4, we're going to move into one of the best ways I have. Jim, you got it, buddy. I didn't see you, but yeah, let's talk soon. Blair, my good buddy Blair Braswell told me something that has helped me overcome deal fatigue. I didn't even realize it until now.
Red Bull?
Yep.
All right. That wasn't the answer you gave
The
him.
best way to overcome deal fatigue is because we're really far apart. Like proximity. I'm not talking about in terms of the deal, but we're not close in the way we talk to one another. Blair, you told me a great script that I'll always use now whenever I'm having a crucial conversation, because here's what's missing whenever deal fatigue's setting in. The agent really wants to tell that person something very direct and very strong, but they don't know how to say it. How do you set people up, Blair? Let's see if you remember.
Tommy, you mind if I talk to you like I talk to my brother?
That right there is one of the best scripts I've ever had. Tommy, or GTT, I don't go by that name anymore. Do I have permission to talk to you like you're my brother? Now once I get that agreement, I can say whatever I need to say to you. You trust me, you've given me permission, so now that proximity has squeezed in. Blair, man, you're being a jackass. Let me tell you why. Is what I could say back to you once I ask you that. Man, these people have got this, they've got that. It ain't their fault. I can tell you exactly the truth. A lot of times we create distance because we're sugarcoating things.
Yeah.
We're telling them things, and they're like, they want to hear the truth. The clients really want to hear the truth. We're scared to always tell them the truth because we're too far apart from them. We don't have permission. We have not asked for permission to talk to them like what, Blair? Like we brothers.
Like a brother.
So, go ahead.
You know, sometimes we position ourselves as and we're supposed to be an expert in our field because that's what we are, but sometimes we're almost unapproachable if we get too serious in trying to put up this front instead of being able to talk to your clients because I don't care what anybody says, you have to have some form of relationship with this person that you're going to be in this contract with, if it's a month or 2 months or however long. So you have to be able to talk openly and honestly and just lay it out there.
Let me ask you this. Who's been your best client over the last year? And I ain't saying who's giving you the most business. Who is the easiest person for you to deal with?
And I'm going to be honest, and we're dealing with one now, and
I thought you'd say me, because you can say exactly what you want to me. Because sometimes Weatherman is my agent.
I didn't even get to throw it out there. I'll fix it. Hey, so anyway, I'm dealing with this guy. I'm dealing with this guy right now, and he's building a new construction house. And it's been real easy. We can go back and forth, and it is GTT. So I represent you on a big sale. And most of the time, you tell me, anytime you deal with somebody over a $500,000 piece of property, how easy is it just to be real? And how easy is it just to say what you want to say to them? Because you're trying to guard that money.
I'm perfect. I don't want you to see any flaws in me, sir, because this is a big deal. I get very mechanical. I get very robotic. I don't relax.
Right.
With me, you can be more convincing to me because you're going to be real.
Yeah.
And you're going to just say, hey, dude, here's the bottom line.
Yeah, and we're just talking it out.
But whenever we're dealing with clients that we don't know very well, we got a lot of distance in the way we talk to them.
Very true.
What are you doing right now, Kathleen?
This is a great show. Y'all are doing great.
Are you
Great
just
stuff.
saying that?
No, it's a great show.
Hey, now you can. Hey, now Kathleen, you can zoom in. Hey, proximity. That's something I talk to everybody about in the office. You can talk to your best friend and tell them things they need to hear. But whenever you're talking with people, like whenever anytime there's something risk. Let's say if me and you were putting in the office in just a cup.
Yeah.
You'd be loose. I'm the weatherman shaking your butt and putting. Okay, well if you had let's say if you had $8 million on the line, you had to sink that putt and you're at Augusta on Sunday.
You'd be a little bit tense.
What would you be like?
I'll be a little bit.
Now let me ask you this: would you rather putt down that hallway with nothing riding? Well, I know if you could win the money, if you could win $8 million, would you rather do it at the Masters with 22 million people watching you, or would you rather be in that hallway not knowing you?
Hey, some of us out there, whenever things online is tough,
Yep.
you want to putt.
You can, but
It will be very difficult.
But for the most part, whenever you're in stressful situations, your mind contracts. You can't think as clearly. You can't say things the way you normally would. How many times have you been in an argument, Kathleen, where you walk away and you're like, why didn't I say this to him? The reason why is your mind's contracted. You don't think as clear. You're not as creative. So if agents would get more, hey, am I going the wrong way? Whoa. If you get closer to your clients and have conversations with them that are really the truth. Now you can't be.
Hey, squirrel, right here. We're right here.
Well, hey, Michael Bird's calling me. He knows Real Estate 101s every day or every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Get closer to your clients. They'll trust you more whenever you're telling them things they really need to know.
And that eliminates a lot of fatigue when you can do that.
Sometimes, I think it will if you set expectations up front. Say, look, this may take a little while, and here's why. But a lot of times we want to make them feel better. This does not give you permission to be rude because I believe this: you're always only an option as the professional because they can pick whoever they want. They don't have to pick you. So you should never think because I'm the best, they got to call me. No.
Very true.
There's 1,500 agents out here that they can call anytime they want it. So, weatherman.
Well, here's the biggest part of a file that I think is the biggest deal fatigue in the file, and it's the appraisal. Because the appraisal, you don't know when it's ordered, you don't know when it's coming in. A lot of times it's at the end. Everybody's on eggshells with the price points of where we are. And then when it comes back, you don't know what to do. So there's a lot of emotion going into an appraisal. And so when an appraisal comes back and you get it and it's low, then we got an issue to talk about. But most of the time, nowadays, a lot of agents are getting smarter. They're ordering an appraisal as soon as they write the contract up. But guess what? Appraisals are probably some of the most behind people out there, and it always comes down to the
Think
end.
about this. The average appraisal is about 6 to 7 hours of research. And that includes the research going out there. I mean, it takes 6 to 7 hours to complete one of them.
Yeah.
And some of these people are doing 30 to 35 appraisals a month. So how many hours is that?
That's a lot. But hey, I still want it done quick, but like everybody does. So whenever you do an appraisal on day 1, and by day 14 we still don't have an answer, you have 14 days of emotions, of what ifs, and all kind of scenarios, and then even going into the repairs and all these things, and you still don't know if the house is going to appraise.
Another one is multiple offers. Listen, and you know what? I hate seeing, and I've thought about doing where, hey, we're not going to accept offers until 14 days from now. That's an exaggeration, but if you make an offer we're not going to review, I think when the market slows down, that will frustrate buyers more if there's more things that pop up. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, I believe one of the drawbacks of doing we'll review all offers on this day is deal fatigue starts setting in for somebody, especially if I'm willing to make you an offer that I feel like you need to take right now.
You said it right. Right now, and there's a lot of agents do it. We've done it. It's going to continue to happen. You put the house on the market on Thursday. We'll answer all offers on Monday. Our offers will be presented. So let's remember this. We put on the market on Thursday. Offers will be presented on Monday. It doesn't mean you're going to have an answer on Monday. They get presented to the seller on Monday. So you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days in real estate to a buyer that's trying to buy a house is like 4 months.
Think about back in the days as short sales. You could make an offer on a house that was, and it could be low, but it had to go through the banking, and it could take months to get an answer.
Yes.
I mean, it could take so long. Buyers would just change their mind because of deal fatigue. So anytime you're in a transaction, and actually I could get more into other subject matter of deal fatigue. It could go into relationships.
Yes.
It could go into different aspects of life. So be aware. Hey, get back over here. Be aware of what deal fatigue is. The longer things are going on unanswered will lead to deal fatigue.
I agree. Oh.
J.R. Eastman has been commenting a lot, but the last one is the perfect example of why lender communication is key in making a deal go smooth.
J.R., you're exactly right.
Without a doubt.
And I know it gets very frustrating for us when we're needing an answer and we're having to call, and then we're calling our client back with, we don't have anything new to tell you. Or even worse, if it's the reason why we don't like to deal with companies on the internet is you might call. Lisa, how often do you call? They don't respond. They'll only respond via email.
Yeah, if it's out of state, usually that's the
Yeah.
Very, very rarely will they call me back.
And it's a lot easier for them to walk away because they don't know you.
And it's usually not even the same person through the whole transaction.
Right.
So when deal fatigue is setting in, it's hard to be as convincing because the emotions, like Steven said, emotions are starting to go against you.
Yeah.
Those little magic words, that little humor, that little thing, it's not as effective because people are checking out on you. It's kind of like in a relationship where the girl has decided I don't like you. Hey, when you're getting in the friend zone, you're trying to fight your way out, but she's already decided, dude, you done got friend fatigue.
We ought to just be friends. We get along too good. I don't want to mess this up.
That's it. So, hey, over here to me. Tomorrow night, Thursday, straight from the gut, 8 o'clock right here. I'm going to talk about is what you're chasing worth catching. Weatherman, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, you've done a fantastic job.
Say it. What are you writing down numbers over there doing?
You're the greatest.
Don't forget to please like, please share.
Oh, and anybody, hey, one of the things I'm the most passionate about is self-improvement. That's why I do these kind of shows. We have started a group. What is it called, Kathleen?
Think big with GTT.
Think Big with GTT. So if anybody is still watching this, sign up for it. All you got to do is like it. I will put more content out there. But really appreciate you watching. Please share. We're going to come back. We're going to give away some gift cards. Is that you liking it, Kathleen?
Yes.
I appreciate it. Hey, it's time to go. Weatherman, say it. Sign us off.
Hey, guys. Tune in tomorrow night from Straight from the Gut. See you soon.
See you soon, folks.
Make someone smile.
Ooh, say that.
Hey, guys, please try to make somebody smile today.